As the weather starts to get colder, we've got ideas for seasonal specials for your pro shop. Plus, some things to consider if you're looking into the possibility of opening multiple pro shop locations. Ipsia Hot Topics coming at you right now. Hi there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ipsia Hot Topics. We have a great guest on for you today. He is the owner-technician at Virtue Bowling Supply, which has 7 locations across Arizona, around Phoenix, and Flagstaff, and points in between. And he is also on the leadership on the Ipsia board. We've got Craig Spencer here, and Craig, welcome to Ipsia Hot Topics.
Hey, Fef. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it's a little early here in Arizona, but I'm excited to talk with you.
Yeah, no, we're glad to have you. And for those who aren't familiar with Virtue Bowling Supply, what can you tell us about it and what you do there?
I would say on a very surface level, it's a pro shop chain. That's probably what's most common or similar to most scenarios. I would say what we do a little different is we really try to push the envelope for the industry. We try to do things that maybe pro shops don't normally do. And we also try to really collaborate with our local quote unquote competitors, or as I would call them, rivals. So we do try to come about it with some different ideas and a different culture and a different perspective that's really just oriented towards growing bowling, growing the profession, and kind of trying to push a pretty antiquated profession and industry in terms of the pro shop industry, trying to push it forward a little bit.
Yeah, that's fantastic stuff, and stuff we at Ipsia are always interested in finding out about, because that's the future of our sport right there.
Sure.
So we are recording this in late October, at the end of a pretty sad week in the sport of bowling. In Lewiston, Maine, you had a mass shooting, part of which took part at a bowling center, Just in Time Recreation in Lewiston. 18 unfortunately lost their lives, a suspected shooter that claimed his own life. And as we learn more and more about the victims, we find out that many of them had a place in bowling, in the sport of bowling, in their local bowling community. But this story really stretches out further than the Lewiston bowling community. In fact, it really has kind of taken over our sport. Can you tell us what you've learned about the heart of the greater bowling community through this tragedy, and kind of what you've seen as far as the outpouring of support?
Yeah, I would say being in bowling a very, very long time and seeing even deaths relative to our local community, and then something far more tragic like this, you get quickly reminded that this isn't even though many of us kind of think about our bowling on an individual basis, that it's really not an individual sport. And it really is kind of unique in that even in team sports, you're really only kind of connected to your teammates, like in, say, football or basketball. Bowling's really unique in that you're an individual competitor and you kind of have an individual journey. But once you really get into bowling, you end up getting connected to this community. And the community is and the degree at which how big of a community you get tapped into varies depending on what level bowler you are, But, not to, I guess, get kind of too technical or off the real story of it. But that's what's so great about bowling. It's what I love about bowling, is that you really get tapped into either a local community, and then as you start to bowl outside of that, especially with social media, you get connected even to an even larger bowling community. And really, not only does that, what makes it so special on like an emotional side and kind of a spiritual or enjoyment side for people is, that community aspect. But also on the business side for bowling centers and pro shops, that's also what makes it such a special thing on the business side as well, is that people don't view their bowling the same as going to the movie theaters and those kinds of things. On the Ipsia side, it's important that pro shops and proprietors understand that, when bowlers make that transition to be kind of somewhat competitive and they do get tapped into that community and we all feel connected around these kinds of shootings, that they become a completely different type of customer. And that's very evident with stuff like Maine when you see everyone coming together. So I don't know if that answers your question directly, but that's kind of how it hits with me, and why I see bowling to be so special, not only from just like a fulfillment standpoint, like it's just a very fulfilling activity, but also from a business standpoint, which through the lens of IPSIA Hot Topics, I figured I would try to touch on both.
Yeah. And certainly a silver lining to this thing, of course, we offer our best wishes to those family members and community members affected by everything that has gone on in Lewiston. Let's get back into kind of the business of bowling now. Why don't you tell us about some of the challenges that a pro shop owner faces when they see the kind of growth that allows them to expand into multiple locations, as that's been a big part of the Virtue story?
Yeah, it's very tough. It's very tough. I would say, all things in business start with some level of motivation, what you're motivated towards. And I would say if you're really motivated towards income, opening multiple ones is not really the best path. Typically an area will have one or two really locations that can do a lot of volume, and then there's a lot of locations that won't do a lot. And so if you're a technician that really perfects your craft and you're really good with people and you really draw demand, the way to make the most amount of money is to be in one of those high volume locations operating it yourself. Once you get into the chains, to really do it well, it's going to be very difficult to operate one full time while also managing many of the others. And so once you have to have someone really good operate that large volume one, you have to pay them very well. And then once you're paying them very well, there's not as much money to go around. And then a lot of the times as you're adding staff to these lower volume locations, you don't end up making a ton of money. But what you can do that really motivates us and motivates me is often if someone doesn't come through into these low volume locations, they either don't have pro shops at all, or they have pro shops that are debatable how good they are for bowling or how good they are for the local communities within that bowling center. And so if you can get a business in there that keeps good inventory, has good hours of operation, has, IPSIA trained technicians, and can plug into e-commerce and social media marketing and really those types of things, they can be a far more effective pro shop at getting people into the sport, keeping them into the sport, and those kinds of things. So,
yeah, well said, and a lot to think about, rather than just on the dollars and cents angle of this. There are relationships there that are certainly to be considered, and I appreciate the insight on that. As I said, we're recording, late October, and the holidays are coming up. So let's talk about how you plan for seasonal specials and what you have going on there at Virtue right now.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the most important part with seasonal specials and specials throughout the year, if I could share with pro shops, is really just to get in a mindset of how important it is to get beyond the walls of your pro shop. We're kind of fortunate in that customers automatically come into us because they're already in the bowling center. They see us, they know we're there. And so it's very easy to forget that for most businesses, there's some type of acquisition process of trying to get customers. And in our case, that kind of comes with the bowling center. And so for specials, I think to really be effective or to really boost sales in any particular time of the year, it's really important to kind of get in that mindset of being able to get outside the walls of your shop and really promote. And, essentially the way that looks is making league announcements, obviously coming up with some specials. And I shared my specials with you. And, these are a few things that we do. So we typically try to find, this is a flyer that we did last year. We haven't launched our deals for this year yet, but what we do every year is this mystery ball. It's a big hit. We use some of our back stock throughout the year that we couldn't sell through. We also use the IPSIA seed balls. So for those of you that are not aware, you can order balls directly through the IPSIA membership benefits. And they are going to range anywhere from $85 to $95 that you can order directly through IPSIA. And we sprinkle those IPSIA balls, which are brand new releases, with a lot of our back stock that didn't sell through. And then we wrap those all up in wrapping paper. We put them under a Christmas tree in all the shops. And then we typically do decorations in all the shops. So you typically want to do decorations, mix it up a little bit, try and again get people from outside to come in and see, oh, let me take a look at things, look a little different in there. And then often they'll see, you know, these wrapped presents under the tree, and it's just kind of an exciting, interesting thing that they don't know what they're going to get, but they pay $99.95 and they know they're going to get a good deal. And so we kind of do that kind of stuff. And then, you know, once you have a flyer like that, make sure you're getting that out on social media. Make sure you're passing them out at league and making league announcements. I think league announcements is probably one of the bigger low-hanging fruits for pro shops. They just assume like, well, I'm here, the bowlers are here and I'm here, so you know the bowlers must know everything that we're doing in the shop. But you know, as you probably know, people just come in and they bowl their league and they leave, and you have a captured audience there. You have a huge opportunity to put information in front of them, and so even if you don't put a lot of time and energy into your social media, just being able to make some league announcements and let them know what you have going on can go a long way.
Yeah, for sure. That's great advice. Craig, can you tell us how we can connect with Virtue Bowling Supply if we're just getting to know you through this?
Yeah. So obviously it depends what exactly and what ways you're looking to connect. So generally speaking, we have a website, we have all of our social media platforms, which you can pretty much find under Virtue Bowling Supply. If you're looking for more of entertainment, you know, we are trying to grow our YouTube channel right now, so you can check that out. We're giving away a lot of stuff there. If you're just looking for, you know, if you're a pro shop and you're looking for ideas on the social media side, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and kind of see what we're doing to try and stay in front of bowlers there. And then on the e-commerce side, if you're looking to see what we're trying to do in terms of e-commerce and stuff like that, which is probably unlikely, but you can check us out at virtuebowling.com.
Great stuff. Well, Craig Spencer, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it early in the morning there in Arizona, but getting some valued information out to our members. And for those of you looking for more information on IPSIA, your best resource is ipsia.com. You can find out about what we do and how to become a member there. And if you like what you saw here, be sure and like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can be the first to find out when we post new videos here. And with that, here's a look at IPSIA's leadership.